Hi, I'm Michelle Sparks, narrator from Los Angeles, California, and you're listening to Bookin' Around Town with Jacques on the audio flow, connecting authors and readers one town at a time.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for another episode of Bookin' Around Town. I'm your host, Jacques, and today we are booking around the town of Kansas City. So, yeah, I asked this question earlier. Is it Kansas City, Kansas, or Kansas City, the other state? Because I suck at geography. But no, I'm talking about Kansas City in Missouri. And today's special guest is none other than Pam Godwin. Hey, Pam, good afternoon. How's it going?
Going good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being on Booking Around Town. I've been sort of um, virtually stalking you for about 2 years now. Is it okay for me to tell you that?
Oh, of course. Well, I love when I get to see you in person too. That's always fun.
I know, and I'm always excited. I tell people I'm going to see Pam, and then I have to post up all our pictures just so they know that I that it's not just me making it up in my head. So but I'm so excited to finally get a chance to sit down and chat with you. We are booking around the town of Kansas City, everybody. I've never been to Kansas. Wait, is it Kansas State, Kansas City? Because isn't there another Kansas City somewhere? Or
Yeah, the main Kansas City is Missouri. Kansas
okay.
City, Kansas is like nothing. Sorry if anyone lives there, but there's like nothing there. There's not really a whole lot in Missouri anyway, but we're Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, see, I would have totally failed geography if somebody asked me that. But at least I knew that there were two. See, I just
Right,
couldn't
you
tell you
did.
what state.
Yes.
I couldn't tell you what state they're in. So we are in February already, Pam. Can you believe that we're already 2 months into 2018?
It is flying.
Yeah, it's crazy. I always think, we go through all of the hoopla and the hype of the holidays that, are really toward the end of the year. And then once New Year's comes and February ends, it's like we're a quarter into the year and then it just flies by. It's
Yep.
crazy. And so what's your writing schedule like, at the beginning of the year? Do you usually set goals? Most of us have New Year's resolutions, but as a writer, do you have sort of goals about what you like to accomplish for the year?
Yeah, I'm an Uber planner, so I plan out all of my release dates a year in advance. I do that the previous year, so I know what my schedule is like for the most part for the entire year.
Wow. So what are we looking at for 2018? How many books can we expect to see with Pam's name scrolled across the bottom?
5 to 6, five for
Oh,
sure,
I'm
possibly
so
six.
yay, I'm excited about that. So I will tell you, Pam, I have been in love with your writing. You know how I feel about Dark Notes, and I'm so super excited that it's finally going to be on audio. So how excited were you when that actually took place? And are you a big audiobook listener?
Okay, I'm not. I don't listen to audiobooks at all because I love to read the words
Uh-huh.
and I just listening. I don't watch movies either, so I don't watch movies or TV shows. I don't listen. I prefer to read everything. But for audio of all of my books, Dark Notes has been my most excited. I've been most excited about it, my most anticipated because it's a beautiful story and the
Mhm.
characters are so awesome. And I wanted to get the casting right. And thanks for your help and helping me with that. The casting, I'm so excited. I've yet to hear it, the final version of it, but I'm
Uh-huh.
so excited about the casting.
I'm excited about it too. And when I picked up that book and I read it, and I was like, oh my God, every time I saw you, I'm like, why aren't your books on audio? Your books need to be on audio. Like, hello, knock, knock, your books need to be on audio. And so, just right before the new year started, I went and I have all your books, which is great. And I don't get a chance to read as much. So when I saw, um, the one is a promise, two is a lie, two is war, three is a oh,
Three is
I get
two is a lie, three is a word. Yeah,
yeah,
that
that
series. Yeah.
that series. And oh my goodness gracious, I think it made number, was it six? I think it made number 6 on my top 10 audiobooks of 2017. It was
Oh, thank
just,
you. I love that. Thank you.
the story was just so good, and it was just really different from what people expect out of. Hopefully, this isn't a. I'm not doing a spoiler. If you read the blurb, you'll
Yeah.
know. But
It's a true love triangle.
it
I mean, it's
is, yes. Thank
not
you.
everybody gets a happily ever after.
Yeah,
In
and
a
the
true
thing.
love triangle, that's how it ends.
Yes, and it's like you can be happy, you couldn't really go wrong, but I felt like you really did that book justice, and I was so happy with the ending. It made me a little nervous there at first. I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my God, which way is this? Which way is this going?" I'm like, "No, I want her to go this way, please." And it had me stand up. I think I missed 2 or 3 nights of sleep trying to get
Oh,
uh,
wow.
through the whole series, but it was just done really well, and the growth of the characters and how they interacted with each other, the emotions, it was just, I can't say enough good things about it. I have shared it with so many people. They're like, I don't know what to listen to, I don't know what to read. I'm like, have you read this series? Have you listened to it? Go pick it up now, like
Oh, you're
ASAP.
too good to me. Thank you so much. And the narrator, Lisa Zimmerman, did a
Oh my God.
fantastic job.
Lisa is the bomb, I will tell you. And
Yes.
I love when me as a listener and a reader are able to kind of stumble into books or narrators, and just because I love your writing, I found her, and then I just started finding other things that she's done, and I've connected with her, and she's gonna be on my show, I believe in March, and she's just such a sweetheart, and I'm so glad that you cast her for that story. It was perfect for her.
Yeah, she was great. She did a great job. I'm glad you liked her.
Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about Dawn of Eve and that series because it's not on audio.
No, most of my books are not on audio. In fact, my whole backlist is not on audio. I just haven't done it. It's you know what's involved. It's a lot of
Yeah,
work and the
it is.
casting and I did the Tangled Lies series myself,
Mhm.
casting it myself with Lisa. I actually stumbled upon her, so that was exciting.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so it costs me a lot of money to put them in audio, and I'll eventually get to it. It's
Okay,
on my to-do list. But
she'll get to it.
but the Eve trilogy is that's my heart's blood. I mean, that series is closest to me. The
Mhm.
first book I ever wrote was the first book in that series. It's a dystopian romance. I've thrown all kinds of genres at that, like horror and paranormal and sci-fi and erotica, and there's just, I mean, like, I put everything that I love and all the different genres in that series. So I just love the characters in those books, but it's not for everyone. So
Yeah.
it's not everybody likes violence with their romance, and the other way around. So
Yeah, but I like that there are multiple genres in there, so it doesn't really fit in one category. And
oh yeah,
so
no.
and so the good part about it is if I like at least one or two of those genres that's in there, then I'm probably going to read it and then find myself possibly liking the other genres that I hadn't read before, just because you were able to kind of mesh them together and make it into like I always call it like the kitchen sink, where you kind of just
Yeah.
throw throw everything in there. And the book covers, I'll tell you that's one of the reasons why I bought the series, because really I'm not a big horror person, but the covers are just absolutely beautiful. And
Yeah, the covers are great. I love them.
so how do you actually go about selecting the covers for your book? Do you play a big part in that, or do you just leave it up to the creative person to design it and you say, "Yes, I love it."
I do different things in different books. The original covers of the Eve trilogy I actually had done myself. I was actually the model on the first cover of the first book. And I
Wait, do
never,
I not have this
yeah,
book?
I never liked it. No, you don't have it. It was out there for a couple of years, and the only reason I did it is because I was adamant about having all the right firearms
Uh-huh.
on the cover. She's strapped down with firearms. I mean, she's in an apocalypse, so she's carrying
Yeah.
all kinds of weapons and blades and things. And I own all those. I'm in, Missouri. We all
Yeah.
we all tote them. And so I wanted the guns to be accurate, and I was trying to find a photographer who would find a model who would carry my guns. And they're like, "No, Pam, you can't do that. You can't just put your rifles out and carbines and have people carry these around. Why don't you model for it? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I ended up doing it. I hated that cover.
Oh my
I
gosh,
always hated that cover.
I want
So
to
I,
see
I got
it.
rid of it.
What? Oh
No.
my God. I'm so mad. I want to see it now. I'm like all intrigued now. I must see the. You've got to have one stashed around
I do. I
somewhere.
can I can share a picture with you later, but
Okay.
I'm just glad that those covers. So I did the first few covers myself on that series, but the series is so hard to sell, and I think I was pushing it towards a more of a horror genre,
Mhm.
horror readers, and they don't like sex in their books. And there's a lot of sex in these books. There's a lot of erotic, especially the second book. And they're like, no, this is horrible. This is porn. I'm like, okay, I'm pitching it to the wrong audience. So
Yes.
I redid the covers. I hired OK Creations. She does a wonderful job. I had her redo all the covers and market it towards a romance genre, and it's done so much better since then. So I was marketing it towards the wrong genre.
Yeah, well, if you just market it to you just market it to me when you just said erotica and yeah, that's okay, I won't say that's my favorite, but I do enjoy reading it and I've only read two kind of apocalyptic books and so if I enjoyed them and so now since because I hadn't read it yet. I've been waiting for it to go on audio, which is probably going to be a while, so I'm going to have to just read it. But you
Yeah.
combine that with what you just said that there's a lot of sex in there and yeah, yep, I'm gonna pick it up soon as I get home, so
And
thank
the
you.
second book is like almost 700 pages. So just imagine putting that into an audiobook. It would be like what, 20 hours? I don't know. It
Oh
would
my,
be a
so
long.
it's
And
gonna
plus,
be
I
long.
don't know if audio readers like to read or listen to long audiobooks or not. I don't know.
Yes, do you know that
Do? Okay.
Darker was 18 hours? You know how many people listen to that book? 18 hours of listening to Zachary Weber be Christian Grey, so trust
I'm
me.
not E.L. James, so I don't think I can get that kind
No,
of
no,
following on
no.
my.
You don't even have to be because you're Pam Godwin and you've got an audience and people like me will listen to it. Probably not all in one sitting because, that's a lot. We'll chop it up, but yeah, chop it, no pun intended, since it's, she's
Right.
killing people
Right.
and all that
Now
stuff.
there's
But
chopping involved.
so you said that that was your first book. And so how long ago was that when you decided that you wanted to go into writing?
I started writing the first book in like 2008. I
Hmm.
didn't publish it until 2012. So during those like 4 years, I studied the craft. I went to learn, I was focused on thriller writing. So I went to all these thriller webinars and conferences all over the country, I learned from Lee Child and different awesome thriller writers focused on that. So I spent years learning how to just write, like
Hmm.
technical writing in the craft. And then I finally got the balls to actually publish the first book, Dead of Eve, and I've been publishing since then. I quit my corporate job in 2013, and so I've been
Hmm.
writing full time since then.
And what were you before you went into writing full time?
I was a quantitative analyst for a investment firm, mostly web development and coding, programmer, um, mathematical models, all of the other side of the brain.
Oh my God. So
Completely different than writing.
I'm sitting here and we're trying to figure out how many hours 700 pages are. And you're like, oh, I did quantitative this with coding and math and you just went
Well,
right over my head.
simple math I still struggle with, 1 plus 1, but the complicated stuff comes easier.
I'm like, so everybody, you heard it here first. Pam's a super nerd.
I used to be. I've
Jeez.
been retired for a few years now, and my brain is starting to deteriorate.
Oh gosh, no, I doubt it. I'm sure you effectively use the right side of your brain now, and the left side kind of peeks in a little bit with some of those stories that you write about. But wow, that is
Right.
is awesome. So you took some time to study, and would you say that that has been one of the great things that has allowed you to kind of be where you are in your career is taking time to actually learn the craft of writing?
It's given me a completely different perspective on writing, I think, than because I think if I would have just started out in romance is a very different style of writing.
Hmm.
It's more, it's not worse by any means. It's more laid back, I think. Lots of, you know technical writing rules are broken in the romance genre, especially in the indie world. You read a lot of first person narrative in romance, but outside of romance, it's all like third person. That's why a lot of my books, especially my more suspenseful thriller books, are written in third person, because that's the way you do it. I mean, that's the way I was taught, is to write third person, never first person. Did you know that? Did you
Yes,
know?
and the funny part is when I got back into reading, I read a book and it was first person and it was so hard. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
understand why it's in first person, and that makes sense because most of the books that I've read was always third person. It was like this person is telling you the story about what's going on. And it just felt weird. And now when I read third person, it feels weird. It's just
Right.
odd.
Yeah. Yeah. Because in romance, I mean, first person is like that's the predominant way to write, the narrative tends to write in. And I don't really understand why. I do it. I mean, I write in first person because that's what readers run. In fact, I get complaints when I write in third person romance.
Really?
But I still prefer to write it third person because I think it's a better way of writing.
Yeah,
So I
I
don't know. It's a trend maybe right now. First person. I don't know.
Well, maybe we should just make up another person and make it like for second
Well, there's
person.
there's second person, that's
Yeah.
you. Like you're
Yeah.
talking to the audience. The reader is the audience. So I don't think I could ever write in second person.
You should try it just for fun, like
Oh,
a short
maybe.
story and just do it.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, "See, we talked about that on my show and look at it." And then you'll say, "I love it because it's a combination of first and third." I don't know. I
There
just
you
made
go.
that up, but but okay, so you wanted to be a thriller writer, and still do a little bit of that, but have you ever just wanted to write like straight horror? Because I
Yes,
wanted,
yeah,
yeah.
I would love to do that. The thing is that I like to have sex in my books. I just like it. I think it adds an edge to the story, and I
Uh-huh.
love it. Is I don't necessarily have to have romance in the books. I think all of my books have romance, but I like to have that like sex edge to my stories, and
Uh-huh.
it's just hard to do that in horror because it's not necessarily accepted in that genre.
Which is weird. I mean, well, I guess because I've had a chance to talk with, other authors and readers, and they are really, us readers, we're really picky people. And it's like I chat with somebody who writes Regency, and she's got a little sex in her books, and it's just really different, and people are like, oh no, that's not Regency romance, that's not, I mean, well, actually they didn't physically have sex, they touched or they kissed or something, and people
Right,
and
right,
people gripe about that. I'm like, well, you do know people in the Regency and Victorian era had sex, right? I mean,
right.
you
They just didn't talk about
they
it.
didn't talk about it, but it kind of happened because they procreated and stuff. So I don't, I'm always like, I don't understand why people get so particular
Well, I
about
mean,
it.
a reading is an investment of time and money, so you want to read what you like, and I totally get that. So I mean, readers have every right to be picky and to pick and choose what they like. So I try to write for a broader audience, but then I do have my passion projects that I just write where I know not necessarily everybody's going to read it, like my Eve trilogy. I
Hmm.
want to write like a Caribbean pirates, old pirates book.
You
And I know
should.
that I would never be able to sell that, but I will. I will definitely write it. It'll be a passion project, and I'll enjoy writing it,
Wait a
and two
minute.
people will read it.
Wait. Why do you think that you'll only have to, and I'll be one of those too. So why do you
Yeah,
think,
okay.
why do you think that that's something that would be a little more, why is it a you know that
It's an
people
it's
read
an
pirate books, right?
I do, but not very many. It's a niche market. I mean, if you look at the top, I don't know, 500 books on the bestseller list, how many of those are pirate books? Probably
Well,
not.
well, I would say because now you don't watch TV, but I watch TV, and so I started back watching TV, and Black Sails is very piratey, but it's also historic, and I just didn't know about what pirates really were like and about how they were trying to um make Nassau independent from Britain and all of this kind of stuff, which was
The
so
politics.
yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know
Yeah.
about the politics of it, and it was such a good series. And so, and they had, their sex and their brothels and all that kind of stuff. So
Yep.
those people that watch that type of stuff, or they watch Vikings and blah, and stuff like that, those are the people that's gonna read your book, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be nice and spicy,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah. So I will be waiting for that for sure. I'm all about the pirates.
Well, I'll write it. I'm definitely going to write it. I will, and we'll see how it does.
Okay, well, it's gonna do fantastic. So you just released Devastate, which is Deliver Book 4, and again with the covers, because you really can't go wrong with um man on the cover with, I'm counting the abs. One, two, three.
There's a
I
lot.
think like six. It might be an 8 pack. I don't know, but there's a pack of abs on there. And I haven't read this series. I own it. So let's talk a little bit about it, and let's talk a little bit about book 4.
Okay, so the covers, first of all, in that series are done differently than my other books in that I hired a photographer and the models. I actually, two of those books, Disclaim and Devastate, I did the photo shoot in my house. So
Oh,
the models
nice.
came to my house, the photographer, and I got to set the poses and choreograph how I wanted, it to look, which was
Hmm.
really a fun project. Um, as far as the books themselves, they're dark romance, very dark. It's human sex trafficking and cartel.
Hmm.
So some books are human sex trafficking, some are cartel, but the overall theme is human sex trafficking. And the main characters are villains.
Hmm.
So they're awful people. They are stealing, raping, murdering. They're doing all of these horrible things. They're just depraved in every way.
Hmm.
Then I redeem them. And so, you say, no, you can't do that. They're these horrible people. I do redeem them because you get to see their history, their backstory, what makes them tick, why they're doing the things
Hmm.
they're doing. And there are twists in all of these books.
Of course they are,
So
because you've always got a twist somewhere in there.
I do like the twists. Yeah. So in the first book, Deliver, I also do a role reversal. So the woman is the human sex trafficker, and she kidnaps a college boy who is going to a religious college. She's a
Hmm.
football player, and he's a virgin.
Oh,
And
wow.
I love virgin men. I've written several of them in my
Hmm.
books because
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with virgin men. I find it very hot. So that's a personal Pam preference. But anyway, he's a virgin man. He's not, he's submissive in the bedroom, but he's not what you would think. Because I have a hard time like selling this book because everybody's like, no, I need an alpha man in my book. This guy is alpha, is very strong. He's probably the strongest character I've ever written.
Hmm.
But he is a submissive man in the bedroom. So he gets taken, and then she does horrible things to him, and she gets redeemed by the end of the book.
See, that's the good part, everybody. So we can sort of hate the person, and then almost halfway through we're kind of like, ah, and then it's like, oh yay, there's a HEA. Can we call it that?
Yeah. Yeah, they all have HEAs in the series. They all have HEAs. That's the thing that I like about writing villains, and really they're anti-heroes since they get redeemed at the end, but I like writing those characters because they're so bad, but they're also, they're sexy. So on the surface, they're hot, and you're interested in them just from that standpoint. But there's also like these little glimpses of like soft, squishy center parts of them, like
Hmm.
the little glimpse of humanity, and you hang on to that. So you can take these horrible characters but give these just tiny little glimpses, and I think that that's just so fascinating because you hone in on it when you're reading, and you're like, oh, I saw that look, I saw that, I felt that. Was that, did he like touch her in a tender way? And you like hang on to that, and then it starts to build and grow, and you're more focused on those on those redemption, the redemption qualities in the character. I just, it's fun to write. It's fascinating.
Well, obviously, a lot of people enjoy your dark, your very dark stories because you've got so many people who follow you and speak so highly of your writing. And so, again, this series, I own it, and I'm basically waiting for audio. That's like
I
my
know.
answer for everything. It's like, well, can I just wait for it to come out on audio? But if not, I have time set aside where I'm going to sit and read. And so now you've got four books into this series. So how many more when does the series kind of wrap up?
It's just a continuing story. I
Okay.
can end it at any time. It can be ended now. I actually have the next book already outlined, and then I have four slated after that. Whether I write those next four or not, it's whether or not the books continue to be read and enjoyed.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, every book you can stop reading it at book one, stop reading it at book two. It's because they're all complete stories. It's a
Mhm.
different couple in each book. So
Okay.
it's not like a continuous, cliffhanger type series. It's not like that at all.
Do any
So
of the
I
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead, Pam. No, Pam, this is all about you.
I was just gonna say I might continue to write on this series forever. Just whenever I feel like writing another dark romance book, I'll just add it to the series because there's a huge cast of characters. Everybody can have their story.
Yeah, it's kind of like Grey's Anatomy. Grey's Anatomy is never going to end, and so this series is probably going to. Well, you don't watch TV, so you probably have no
I
idea.
don't, but my daughter watches that show, and yeah, she's told me about it. I get it.
Okay, well, I'm glad you got that reference because I'm like Pam has probably doesn't even know what Grey's Anatomy is. But even though the books are standalones, do any of the characters ever cross over? Will we see
Yeah.
them? Okay. See, so
Yes.
when that happens to me, I always feel like I have to read them all and I have to read them in order because if I don't, then I'm like, well, who is that person and why are they talking like they know each other? And so I
Yes,
always
you have to read this series in order
okay,
because every book spoils the twist in the previous book. So
okay,
you have to read them in order, and all the characters are interwoven. You know
mhm,
them all. In fact, most of them are introduced in the very first book.
okay,
So then they just start to spread out and develop their character arcs, develop over through the course of the series. And another little interesting tidbit is that a character from the Tangled Lies series, one, I don't want to give away anything from the Tangled Lies series, but the main male character, he who shall not be named, crosses over to the Deliver series.
yay!
And so his story continues through the Deliver series.
Oh my God, that just made me really excited. Okay, yeah, so that means everybody needs to go ahead and listen or read Tangle Lies, and then you can
And
get
then Deliver.
and then
Yeah.
deliver. So don't read them out of order because you'll totally screw it up for yourself. I promise. So you've got your books all scheduled out for the year. How long does it normally take you to complete one book? And along with that, do you ever write more than one book at the same time?
I never write more than one book at the same time. I have to focus on one project at one time. I have scheduled out and outlined. I have a whole cowboy series outlined for the rest of the year. Three cowboy books, dark cowboys.
Of
Um,
course.
a lot of people don't like cowboy books, but these are cowboys done my way. So they're dark and anti-hero, brooding, lawless guys. Um, I'm sorry, what was the first part of the question?
You norm How long does it normally take you to finish writing one
Okay.
book?
2 months. It takes me about 2 months, maybe 2.5 months to write, like a 90,000 word book. So,
Wow.
and then I give myself like 2 weeks to do like release stuff and prepping for the next book. And then I start. Actually, this most of the time I don't even wait a day in between writing books. So I'll write the end on one book, and the very next day I'll start the next book because I already have it outlined and I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like boom.
you're good with that. So I would say that because of your background in coding and all of that math stuff that you are very organized because you just said you outline your books and
Yeah.
yeah, I just I would love to
Yeah, I
know.
think in algorithms. So in coding, everything's in algorithms. So when I outline books, I have to outline them. I can't just sit down with a blank screen and start writing that. I would never get anything done. I have to outline, and it's all in an algorithm. Like if and then nest statements. I'm gonna bore you with this, but I do like serious like coding type algorithm outlines on every book. So then when I actually sit down to write it, all I have to do is fill in the text and color it in.
Man, I really wish that I could sit down and talk with you so I can figure that out because, okay, so I'm trying, side note, trying to write and I cannot outline for the life of me. I just sit in front of the computer, and this is probably why I get stuck. I should really
But
try.
I don't think it's for everyone though. I think everybody has their own process. I mean, I am envious of people who are pantsers who can just sit down and just start writing off the top of their head. I
Mm-hmm.
find that fascinating. I would love to be able to do that. I just can't. My brain doesn't work that way.
No, you're like my other friend who was in also in computer and programming, and she outlines everything, and she's
Yep.
and I just sit there, and everybody that tells me they outline, my eyes just cross because I just feel like I'm doing a report for school or something, and I'm like, I just don't know what I'm doing. But I love that it takes you 2 months, and so yeah, that works. Then you plan out. So when do you start planning out what you're going to do for 2019? I know it's kind of early, but the year is almost over. It's almost Christmas, basically. So.
Right. Well, as I am usually as I'm finishing up a project, usually within the last week of writing a book, I'm already thinking about the next one and the next one and the next one. But mostly my outlines come to me just like out of the blue, like a pirate book. I'll start
Mhm.
thinking about it, and once that seed sits inside me and starts to grow, even though I'm writing another book and finishing another book, I will sit down and outline the pirate book just to get it out of my head and
Mhm.
on paper the outline is there, so then when I'm ready to write it, maybe in 2019, it's already there and already outlined. All I got to do is fill it in. So I
Man,
outline way in advance. I already have like the next 5 books outlined.
I I'm sitting here in awe because that is just absolutely fantastic, which means that gives us readers something to look forward to. We already know that we can expect 5 to 6 books from Pam this year, and and an audiobook that's going to be releasing for Dark Notes, which I'm super excited about. And can we tell people who's narrating that book? It's not a
Yeah, go ahead.
secret.
Yeah,
Okay, so
that's not a secret.
so two of my well, one person is a really good. I love her. Ava Erickson is going to be narrating this book with Tad Branson, who I was supposed to have him on my podcast a couple weeks ago, but I had a family emergency. But we have him scheduled to come back, and his name's also Jonathan McLean, who is an actor, writer. Oh gosh, he does poetry slams. I went and did looked at his whole back, everything, and it's just his voice is amazing. They
It
also
is. It's really good.
oh my gosh, it's just him and Ava do a lot of work with J.A. Huss, and after listening to Julie's books, that's when I met Pam, and I was like, you've got to get that book on audio. And I was like, I know exactly who needs to do it. And
Yep.
and it happened. And I think I probably may have been just as excited as you were when you told me that it was happening. I might have did a
Yeah.
cartwheel in my head, not in real life because you put all your weight on your arms. It's not smart, but
Well, you pushed me into audio. I mean, it was you. Every time I saw you in person, you would be like, Pam, where's your audiobooks?
I
Why aren't you
know.
doing this?
And when I finally saw those 3 books on audio, I was like, "Oh my God, she did it! I'm so excited!" And now I was like, "Okay, now we just need to wait for the other ones. I can be patient about it, so don't worry. I
I'll get
won't.
it done.
I
Thank you
know
for
you
the push,
will.
though. I really appreciate that. And you can continue to push.
Okay,
Sometimes I need that.
I will after I get through the Eve books, and then I've got to start the Deliver books, and then after I finish those, then I'll be like, you know what, Pam? If these books don't get on audio like as soon as possible, I'm gonna be done with you. Done. Not really done, because I can't be done with you. You're great. So so I I like to ask people normally, how do you keep your work life balance, because you do a lot, you're writing full time. So I just, what are you doing when you're not writing? What's those family activities that you like to do to kind of reset yourself?
So I'm probably the worst person to ask that question to. I really suck at the balance thing, like
Oh.
really suck at it. I quit my corporate job because I was sucking really bad at it. And I promised my family, okay, I'm not going to be working two jobs now. I'm just going to be writing, and it's just going to be during the day. Yeah, that was a big fat lie.
Oh
I
God.
write like 20 hours a day. And when I'm not writing, I'm on Facebook, interacting, or I do all of my own PR,
Mhm.
doing my audiobook casting. I do actually do everything myself. I'm my own PA, everything. I don't delegate well. So that's a goal for this year. I'm going to try to start delegating better. But the life work balance, I'm not good at it because I'm so focused on whatever project I'm working on. I have a hard time pulling myself away. But my kids are older. They're at the age, they're 13 and 14, where they don't care about mom and what mom's doing. So it gives me more freedom. Like if I say, okay, I'm going to take a break today and I'm going to hang out with my kids, they look at me like, why? What? Go away.
Aw.
But my daughter is a huge reader. My 14-year-old daughter is a huge
Mhm.
reader. She won't read books with sex in them.
Mhm.
She's adamant. That's not my rule. She's just adamant. She doesn't want that. But she goes with me on my signings and does, she's very involved in my business. She helps me with a lot of the swag stuff and, sending books out. So she's picking up on it. So I get a lot of quality time with her through my business because she wants to be an author one day and she wants to be involved. She's a writer also.
I
So
love
it's
it.
I do too. I do too. And I hope it stays. But if she moves on, because at that age you always want to be this and that and this and that, and the sky's the limit. And I think it's great. I'm super excited. I'm super supportive. So she and I have that thing together where that's how we spend our time, is we're reading or working on the book stuff.
Mhm.
My
And I,
son's a video gamer, so he's completely
on the other
such.
side.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's good. I did have a chance to meet your daughter. I think, were we
In
at
St. Louis.
and Saint yeah, at
Yep.
PenCon, and
Yep.
she was really like your helper, and I love
Yep.
it. I love that you guys had that bonding time. And the good part about what I didn't know about gamers, I went to a convention and there were gamers there, and they actually um you don't really think about that they hire narrators to to do all of the
Yeah.
audio, and then they have script
Right.
writers who write all, and so he's still sort of in the business, he's just on the other side enjoying the
Right.
after product part, so
Right. Yeah. And my husband's a video gamer, so they do all that. And my husband's also a musician. So they're kind of on the different side of the spectrum, and they get along better because through their shared interests. But yeah, you're
ah
right. There's a lot of overlap there with the creativity.
yeah, you got a nice little creative family, almost like the Partridges. It's like the new
Oh
age
God.
Partridge family. Yes, I am old enough to remember the Partridge Family, everybody. Coming along, there's a song that we sing. No, I'm gonna edit that out. Nobody needs to hear
No,
me
you
sing.
should. No, you leave that. That was awesome.
Come on, get happy. That was my joke for the day. So,
Love
but okay, so we've got to work on you getting out of the house, Pam. Every time I see you, and I'm like, "Are you going to the party?" No, no, I'm just gonna go back home. I'm going to the room, going, and I'm like, "Come on, one day I'm gonna get you to actually go to the party with me." I'm just
Okay.
saying, okay? We'll both sit and drink bottled water, and we'll people watch. That's all,
Okay.
okay?
It's not that I'm shy or anything. I'm so very focused on working
I
that,
know.
like, it's hard. I have a hard time pulling myself away from it. It's really bad.
It's okay. We'll still call it working because
Okay.
basically you're people watching. You're like, oh, I can totally see a character that's based off that person doing that awful dance over there. And so there,
You're right, and I do that. I create characters based on people I see in passing or meet or whatever. You
see,
might be a character in my book someday, Jock.
hey, don't kill me off and don't let me get eaten by a zombie or anything. But no, I'm just kidding. I can be any person you want. I don't care. That would really make my day to be a
Awesome.
character in Pam's book.
I do tend to kill off my favorite characters though,
Oh,
so
well, if
you
I
are.
get that would be a big honor if I got killed off, then I
Yep,
know
that's
that
right.
I'm one of your people.
Yep.
Okay. So Pam, so we know that you've got this book that just came out. Everybody, be sure that you go by and scoop it up. It is where is it gonna be? Where is it available, Pam? Besides Amazon.
Devastate is on all retailers. I don't do
Okay.
Kindle Unlimited, so I am wide everywhere on all retailers. Devastate is the fourth book in the series. The first book, Deliver, is free everywhere. I think
Free.
there's yeah, I think there's some foreign markets where it's not free, but you
Mm,
should be able to pretty much get it anywhere. That's
We
Deliver.
we like free, everybody. So you've
Yep,
got a chance. Now, here's the thing though. If you have not read Tangled Lies, I would say now is the first book free on that one too, or is it like on sale or
it
something?
is.
Okay.
It's free. It's
All right.
permanently free. Yep.
Okay, everybody. So one is
That's
a
one.
promise.
Yep.
One is a promise, which is, oh my God, I'm telling you guys, the story is freaking awesome. It's yep. hmm
Thank
Oh,
you.
and wait. So I wanted to ask. So where did you get the idea? This is not a spoiler, everybody. It's at the beginning. But where did you get the idea that she was going to be like a belly dancer?
Um, I went to a Mediterranean restaurant years ago and was captivated by the belly dancers at the
Uh-huh.
restaurant. So I went home and learned how to belly dance. Don't ever ask me to do it because
Oh
it's
my
horrible. I can't.
God!
I
Do
can't.
you have
But I
Zales
learned
and
how to do it.
everything?
Yeah, I had the outfits and I learned how to do the stomach things and no, and my daughter saw me practicing one day and asked me if I was having a seizure. So yeah, don't ever ask me to perform for you. But I know the technique. I know it, and it's a very sexual dance.
Mm,
Like it's so erotic and sensual, and the way the body moves and the hips,
mhm.
the way you can kind of move the hips around. And you don't see belly dancers in books, and
Yeah.
so I totally wanted to write a character that did that, and then I decided, when I plotted Tangled Lies, I was like, oh yeah, she's got to be the belly dancer. This is the belly dancer I've always wanted to write.
Yes,
So
and talk about I was sitting there and I was like, man, I wish I could belly dance because it was very sensual. Just the way that you described, the dance moves and all of that kind of stuff. And I was just like, yeah, this is perfect. This is a perfect story. It's a perfect story. It's a perfect story,
thank you,
Pam. I just can't say enough great things about it. And she did not
thank you.
pay me to say any of that stuff. I'm a fan of good writing and good stories, especially when the genre is heavily populated with certain things, but when you find something that's different, then you just want to hold on to it and be like, oh, it was great. And it took me a while to try to listen and listen to something else after it because I just felt I couldn't find anything that compared.
Oh,
I know.
thank you. That's very angsty. There's a lot of angst in it.
Oh my gosh. When I got to book two, I was like gonna pull my hair out. And then book
Yeah,
three, and I was just like, I just can't. I
it,
just can't take this. It's so
yeah,
stressful.
it is.
So stressful. But I'm getting ready to put your brain to work. And this is gonna be something different. I like to end my calls with something a little bit fun. And
Okay.
so, since you don't watch TV, is your family, do you guys do any board games? Are you familiar with Taboo?
Yes, yes.
Good, good. So we're gonna play a version of Taboo. However, you won't be able to give me the clues. I'm gonna give you the clue, and hopefully you'll be able to guess what it is that I'm telling you. And so, are you fairly competitive, Pam?
Yeah, I'm pretty competitive. I mean, I don't kill myself trying to win, but And so the rules of the game is you can't say certain words, but you have to describe what the word is, right?
Something like that. So this is actually heads up. So it's more,
Okay.
it's similar to either $25,000 pyramid or taboo. Same kind of
Okay.
idea.
Gotcha.
But you get to pick which subject you want me to pull the cards from. So since you are all about the sexy in your book, so I'm gonna give you three categories you can choose from. It's adult supervision, bachelorette party 4, adult supervision 2, or I'm gonna do can't act it out because you can't see me. Sound it out.
Let's do adult supervision too.
Okay, adult supervision 2 it is. Okay, good luck. Wish me luck, and hopefully I'll be able to give you the clues that you'll be able to
I'm gonna
get.
suck. I'm just gonna suck. I'm just gonna put that out there right now.
No, you won't. You're gonna be great. Okay, here we go. Let's see how many we can get. Okay, come on, sound. Place on forehead. No. Okay, here we go. Oh, another name for a prostitute.
Hooker,
Yes.
whore,
Yeah.
slut.
Oh, it was hooker. Okay, come on. Oh, it froze. Okay. Oh, the person who keeps the money for the prostitute.
The pimp.
Yes. Um. Oh, shoot. Okay, this is a alcohol beverage, and Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre
Gin
sang.
and juice. Gin. Gin.
Yes.
Love
Okay.
that song.
This is what they usually call a young person who is dating an older person. Um. Uh.
Oh, jailbait.
Yeah, that's it.
Is it
Yes, this is another word for being kind of tipsy, and it's also a
drunk?
sound. It's a sound a
Uh,
vibrator makes.
buzz. Buzz.
Yes.
Awesome.
You're the best.
The sound a vibrator makes.
I thought it was appropriate.
Yeah,
Did you
I know
get
that
it?
one.
I can't stop laughing. Okay. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 6 because I skipped one. So you did great on the first one. Nobody ever
Yay.
usually gets that many on the first one. So we gotta do one more round with the same category, and see if you out of the month of February, if you get the most points of the people that I chat with, then you'll win a nice little belt. Not a belt. Have you ever watched? No, I was gonna say, have you watched Lip Sync Battle? But you haven't. We'll give you
No.
a little award and post it up on your page, on your fan page.
Sweet. Okay.
Okay. Hopefully this one is just as easy as the last one. Oh, okay. When you're gonna write your cowboy story, I'm pretty sure some girl is gonna be riding on one of these at the bar.
Saddle.
No,
Bronco, built
it,
bull.
yeah. What kind
Uh,
of bull?
a rodeo bull. Uh,
Um,
a bunk, a bronc, bucking bronco. No, that's
you plug it in, so it's considered
like a electronic bull.
a mechanical. We'll give you that one.
Mechanic.
Okay,
Okay.
that's okay. Oh, this is something when you say I'm gonna blank this tonight because I know I'm gonna
I'm
uh,
gonna hit it.
uh
Um,
I gotta come back. Okay, shaken not stirred. The spy. What's his name?
oh, I don't know.
You don't
Um,
know? Come
a spy.
on. James Bond. He's always like
Oh,
shaken not stirred.
yeah. I don't know.
Oh, that one
He's a
was
movie
hard.
guy.
I know. I forgot. How can you not? Everybody knows who James Bond is. Sean Connery. No?
Yeah, I don't know. I
Oh
don't
my
know. I'm
God.
seriously clueless on celebrity stuff and
That's
movies.
okay. The other
Sad.
one was Get Lucky. I was trying to figure out how to say
Oh,
Get
get
Lucky.
lucky.
But it's
Damn.
a oh boo. But that's okay. So your total for today was 7. So not bad. Not bad, Pam. Did a great job.
Okay.
You're
Thank you.
like, sure.
Yeah, I really sucked that last round.
Those were hard. It's okay. You got buzzed, so you're on the top of my list because you got that one. But so I thank you so much for being on the show, and I would love for people to know how they can get in contact with you and follow you everywhere. So please go ahead, tell us how we can find Pam.
I'm all over social media, so Amazon, Facebook, BookBub is a great place. I don't know if you know, you can write reviews there. You can get alerts and notifications. BookBub is a great social media platform for book readers. Goodreads, I'm on Goodreads. I have a website, pamgodwin.com. You can follow me on Amazon. Again, I'm on all the retailers, so iBooks, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, all of those. Twitter, yeah, all of them.
And do you have a fan group or
I
anything
do
like
have
that?
a reader group. It's
Okay.
called Read Between the Wines on Facebook. And I
Okay.
share that with a couple other authors. It's a great group. So you can just look up Read Between the Wines and you can
Okay.
find me on Facebook in my reader group. And I post teasers and all kinds of stuff out there.
All right, sounds good. Well, everybody, you are now introduced to Pam Godwin, or if you're already familiar with her, then you've got a chance to get to know a little bit more about her. And like me, I want to see her do the belly dance, and I want to see that book cover.
Not happening.
Was I just thought
I'll
I'd,
send you the picture of the book cover, not the
but
belly
that's
dance.
it. That's fine. I'll take it. I'll take whatever I can get. Now, are you going to be doing any signings this year, Pam?
Yeah, I have about one every month,
Okay.
mostly in the Midwest.
So can we find that on your website where you're going to be
Yep, if you
signing?
go to pamgodwin.com, there's an events tab. You can click on the events tab, and I keep that updated with all the events and the information for the events.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, Pam, thank you so much for joining us for Booking Around Town today. And
Thanks for having
ha-
me.
you're welcome, and happy book release to you. And everybody,
Thank
be sure that you go by to any retailer and pick up Devastate, and also pick up all of Pam's books. I would just say, just get them all. And we will be waiting for Dark Notes to appear on audio. And when that comes out,
Yay.
yes, we will be blasting it all over social media. So you heard it here first. You make sure you go and find it. And if it had a pre-order, we would put that up too. But if you don't have a pre-order yet, we will just follow
I
you.
don't
and
have one yet.
and you have a newsletter with can we sign up for your newsletter? Would that give us
You,
information?
I actually don't have a newsletter,
You
but I
don't?
have my website. I know it's
Website.
one more thing I
I
need to
know.
do, but on my website, if you follow my website, I use that like a newsletter. So any updates I have goes out like a newsletter.
Okay, sounds perfect. All right. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this week of Booking Around Town. And we will chat with you on next week as we will be booking around town with another fantastic author. Have a great week. Hi, you've been listening to Booking Around Town with Jacques on the audio flow. To listen to this episode and other episodes of Booking Around Town, visit us at www.theaudioflow.online. You can also listen to this and other episodes on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Google Play, iTunes, Spreaker, and YouTube. This podcast is produced by Firefly Productions. Remember, Booking Around Town connects authors and readers one town at a time. Don't forget to download your free audiobook today. Go to audibletrial.com/theaudioflow. Again, that's audibletrial.com/theaudioflow for your free audiobook. Thanks for listening.